Here I am at Adepticon 2013, and you'll notice I'm with the JoeyBerry.
Hello.
I've got just the one microphone, so we're going to have to share.
Okay, that's fine.
It's fine. This is your first time in America and your first time at Adepticon. Do you have any other firsts that have happened so far this weekend?
I think I've had the first person come up to me and say, like, "Oh my God, you're JoeyBerry," like in a kind of a fanish way.
Yeah.
I've had a few people be like, "Oh, I've seen your videos," but like someone who was really genuinely like, "Can I have a photo with you? You know, I really love your stuff." So that's been a really great experience. I was like, "Oh yes."
I just took a photo for a guy with you, yes, and so it's been happening a bunch?
A couple of times yesterday and like 3 times today. So it's been very strange for me because, you know, I've been sitting at home in England on my computer and then coming to America, everyone's like, "Your accent is adorable. I love it." So I'm cute as a button, apparently.
That's good. It's good to hear. I had my picture taken with a guy named Roger last year at Gen Con, so that's almost the same thing.
Doesn't it make you blush a little bit? You're like, oh.
It did, and then I had to make sure that then I had my picture taken with him, and then I put it up on Twitter so that people could, it's a good idea. Speaking of which, so you're a female.
Yep.
Yeah. How does that work? I mean, I had someone on Twitter ask me, you know, like, so being a female wargamer, does it come across difficult? Have people been decent about it? He had some questions about just the dynamic of doing that and being, you know, in a more, obviously, as we've seen out there, male-dominated kind of area.
With the female aspect of it, I wouldn't say it's so much. I mean, people question my legitimacy and how sincere I am in my interest towards it, and especially when I first started, there was a lot of like, really? Mm-hmm. But as time's gone on and I've stuck around, I mean, I've been doing this about 1.5 years now, and I've become a bit more of a well-known name amongst the YouTubers, so people have let that go, but sometimes there's a little bit more YouTube aspects as opposed to wargaming aspects. Yeah. But you know, I've gone to quite a few tournaments and played and not done too badly, so I think my interest has been proven. But initially I did get quite a hard time from a lot of people.
I think that once you've started to paint your second army, I don't think anyone can question your legitimacy at that point, honestly, and especially when one of them is wood elves. Really, I mean, that's kind of an uphill climb as it is.
Yes, it is, and I think what stopped some of the, I guess it was viral marketing rumors of sorts, is that one guy just said, "But why fantasy and then why wood elves? Why not Space Marine and 40k?" So people started to kind of come around from that aspect. But I love them, and I love Lizardmen. That's my next fantasy kind of project.
Is that the Game of Thrones themed one?
Lannister, Tywin Lannister.
That totally makes sense. I know that you had you've got a Necron army and you've got your wood elves.
Mm-hmm.
Did you find that moving into a much different kind of army, as far as like, do you find it so much easier to paint your Necrons, and is that kind of a reason you went that way, or is you just love metal skeletons? Or
I love General Grievous, and that's exactly what I saw.
Me too.
Yeah. So I saw one of the Necrons, and I was like, oh, I'd love to paint one as Grievous. However, I have a real problem with light colours, as most beginner painters do. So I've still got something in the works with Ichiban painting to kind of teach me some of the cream, and to do that for all of my HQs. And I'm doing each different Necron troop as a different Sith. Mm-hmm. So I've done Palpatine, and I'm working on Darth Maul, but it is an absolute nightmare, I tell you, for freehand.
the red and the black and all that?
And it has to be symmetrical, and the symmetry is what's catching me out, because the Necron head is not a smooth surface. No. So I'm still finding my feet with it, but currently that's my Necron project.
Yeah. I think actually at this point no one can really say anything about legitimacy when you're talking about trying to make the Necrons look like Darth Maul and how difficult that is. I mean, seriously, that's something that only us nerds really are big fans of. I'm right there with you. I was thinking a while actually, either Necrons as my third army or Grey Knights, but now I'm looking more towards skirmish games. You play Malifaux as a skirmish game. Have you looked at? Did you start in Malifaux, or did you start in Games Workshop stuff?
I started in fantasy with the Wood Elves, but shortly after, even before I started 40k, I went to Malifaux as a skirmish game, purely because I loved Rasputina, and it was introduced at my gaming club where I was living in southwest England, and yeah, she bears a little bit of resemblance to me, or me her, vice versa. So I did a bit of dress up as her, and I think I was sold. Like, she captured my heart, and I love playing. But where I am now, there's not many people who play Malifaux, so I'm a little bit like out of practice. So
I think the trick in some of those situations is to become the instigator.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I've been really getting more into Dust Warfare, so I basically bought 2 forces, and then I'm just having people at the shop sit down and like, pick one, all right, we'll play, I'll show you how it works, and it just starts to snowball, and you get people who get interested. And with skirmish games, it's so great because you can do that. If you sit down and show somebody, we're going to play 40K, here's how it works. First of all, both of you have to have about a 1,500 point army, which is expensive. You know, it's much easier to show somebody else the game when you've got 2 really small armies that you can do. That's something to think about, honestly, with Malifaux. I mean, and you said you're also starting to play Relics before. You mentioned that. Is that one also something that someone showed you?
No, actually, that's something that I'm learning myself. And I was planning in the videos when I still lived in the Southwest to do all 4 of us learn it at the same time. So I split the starter sets between the 4, and I thought, well, we can all have a look at our own individual things and take what we as people know about the game. So I'm a little bit more of a learn by doing. I'm not a learn by reading, whereas some of the other guys can read a whole book and get the game immediately. So I thought that would be a good process to go through to see how we all learn to get every aspect as a unit. But unfortunately, I had to move to London, but I'm still going to do the same kind of concept. But Relics is mostly a painting project for me right now. I tried a lava thing on one of them.
Yeah.
It was a bit of more than I could chew on that one, but you know, it's looking okay. I just need to learn to brighten yellow a little bit more.
Yeah, you literally, from what I've seen with molten bases, you need to actually almost go to white, and it needs to be so slight that you barely notice it.
Yeah, and it's that kind of thing is difficult for me to get hold of, and my painting has actually, a lot of people have said it's progressed very quickly, but you know, it's something, a bit of an unexpected love for me. But I think tournaments and stuff are where my heart lies, in that I've got my fully painted army and I'm like killing people with it, you know.
That's really all we need to know, I think, at this point. And I hope now you're gonna be heading right back. You're not gonna hang around in the States much.
No, after Adepticon, I pretty much got to go back to sunny England, and then I'm going to prepare for Gen Con, hopefully Cologne in Germany for Games Day, where I'm going to attempt to enter a Golden Demon.
Nice.
And Valhalla with the Blue Table Painting, who are here and lovely.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got so much planned that I'm a little bit like,
Well, I'm looking forward to Gen Con myself, and we'll see you there. And I want to thank you for taking some time talking to me.
Yeah, not a problem. I've been like skittering about today, but like we finally got down to it.
Yeah.
But we can catch up again at Gen Con and see how we've been received at our Adepticons and see what the difference is.
That'll be nice.
Yeah? Cool.
Well, thanks a lot.
No worries.